Okay, in this tutorial we're going to trace over some images like we did in Illustrator before and make it a movie clip. So just going to find a cartoon character I can use as a base here. So I'll grab old Patrick, copy and paste it into Animate. So this is in its own layer here, so I'll just rename this original image. Lock that layer. No, I won't lock that layer. I'll right click it and create symbol, and we'll call this one Patrick. Okay, so we can probably just rename this one Patrick now, because now with Patrick as a symbol we can double click it. We've got our own layers here inside the symbol of Patrick, so this one can now be the original image. Going to lock that. Create a few new layers. So what I'm going to have to do is create a separate layer for each body part of Patrick that I want moving separately. So I'll go left arm, have a layer for right arm, left leg, right leg, and one for the body / head, because that'll all be in the same layer, not moving. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll start with the body. We'll click the first keyframe of the body layer, making sure everything else is locked. There is a pen tool here, you can use that, but I like to use the line tool because it's a lot quicker for me. I'm going to, don't want to fill color, we don't really care right now because we're not filling anything in. But we'll choose a stroke color, something that stands out. I'll just go this blue color now. We can always change it later. Okay, zoom in. So the trick here is we're just dealing with the body. So that's all we want to do. We want to ignore the other objects that would go in other layers. So it's just a matter of creating some straight lines like this. Go here, ignoring that arm. I'll just go around his outline for now. I'll ignore his shorts. Okay. And from there we can then go back to the move tool and we can just drag in these lines and just go along his outline like this. You can probably, you probably need to put snapping on. The snapping is the snap to objects, the magnet here. If you click that, then a lot of the times these will snap together and there won't be that gap. So you definitely need to get rid of all the gaps. Just assuming, I know the leg's in front, but just assuming that that's the bottom of the body. Yep, nearly there. And I'll need to zoom in to this section, just fix that a little. Okay, so there's the outline of the body. Now, back to the line tool, I'll just put in some basic details, like these lines. Okay, and now I'll start coloring it in. So I can use the eyedropper tool here on the toolbar, and then I'll click to get that color there. And then I want to hide all the other layers. So then we can, well, you don't have to hide the bottom layer, but then you can just click that and fill in each part, or you can choose your own colors depending on what you're doing. You could go on and then do the design on his shorts, but to save time I won't do that now. So there's his basic body. So now we lock that layer. I'm just going to do the two arms for now. So the really easy one, I'll start with the right arm. I'll drag that layer to the top because the arm should be in front of the body layer. And same thing, so this is his right arm, which is this one here. Alright, so it should be, the right arm should be behind. So what I'm going to do is, unhide that layer. Making sure you're in the right layer, just same thing. What you'll need to do is close up the shape like that, otherwise you won't be able to fill it in. So don't forget to do that. Okay, move tool, spend more time to get these curves better. Eyedropper tool, and then you could fill it in that color. Drag it behind the body layer. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is to go around all of Patrick's, or you can choose your own character, trace around all the details, making sure each part's in a different layer, and once we do that, I'll show you how to animate. Okay.
5 minutes later.
Okay, so I've just finished tracing my Patrick. So there's the original image, and slowly going to reveal each layer to show that each is its own shape, its own layer. And I also created a layer for face that I'm just going to have that in front. If you wanted like the mouth to move or the eyes to move or the eyebrows to move, those can then go in their own layer as well. So every moving object needs to go on its own layer. So anyway, we're inside the Patrick symbol here. Let's do some basic walking actions. So I'll extend this all out to 20 frames by going insert frame. I can delete this original image layer now because I no longer need it. Tracing's been done and it's just an ugly raster graphic, so I'll delete that. Okay, ready to go. So starting with the, we'll go the right leg, which is that one. Zooming in a bit. Okay, so unlock it, click the first keyframe here. Well, what I'm going to do is right click and then go create motion tween, and then that'll automatically turn this leg into a symbol. That's what this box here is saying. Okay, so you can see that it's got a box there, and when I click it and go properties, it'll say it's movie clip, and also so when I double click it, it'll now be symbol 1, and it'll have its own timeline. But anyway, now we've got that. In the first keyframe, I'll just click here. I might I'll move the anchor point or the pivot point up here. So this is where it rotates around. And yeah, it can go in this position. Then maybe at the 10 frame mark, I'll move it over here. And then at the 20 frame mark, I'll move it back to where it was. So basically it's looking like this. Some slow movement there. What I could do is extend it even more frames and then go at the 35 mark. I'll have it in the front there, and then I'll just drag these out a bit. Whoops, not a good way to do it. I'll just insert frames there. Okay, and then at the end I'll put it back to its starting position. So on the main timeline, this will just be an endless loop like that. Going to do the same thing with the right leg now. Left leg. So right click, create motion tween, okay, to turn it into a symbol. Pivot point up here. Then I'm going to use the same keyframes as references, but this time I'm going to go forward first. Click and go back. I don't know, these directions might look a bit weird. We'll see when we finish. I'll need to slightly move that a little bit as well. And then back to the starting point. So you probably want to compare the first frame to the last frame, and hopefully it's pretty similar. Otherwise it'll go from this keyframe to the first keyframe. It'll be a bit jolty like that. So you can fix that and make it better later. With the arm, I'll do the same thing. Left arm. I'll just do left arm and right arm. So motion tween, okay. Pivot point. I don't know, it'll look a bit weird. It'll just be waving a little bit. And whoop. Back to it. And last one, right arm. Create motion tween, okay. Whoops, need to do that pivot point. So I'll go back to this keyframe, change that pivot point so it rotates around the right spot. Now we'll go back and do it. Whoops. All right, nearly there. And last one. Okay, kind of looks a bit weird, but anyway. Now we've got all this internal animation happening in the Patrick layer. When we go back to scene 1, regular timeline, we can just move Patrick over here. We'll move him out of the frame. We'll make it go for maybe 100 frames, insert a frame there. I'll insert a motion tween, and then maybe at frame 40, I'll have him here. And frame 50, I don't know, you can go slow there. And then at the end of the animation, you can walk all the way off. All right, so when we play that on the timeline, we're not going to see that internal animation. So we need to click Control Enter to export. And here we go. Awesome. Okay, so that's how you can get some good animations going and some good looking characters and backgrounds, and you can do this tracing with anything. So just remember your internal animations will just loop forever. You can set it not to, but by default they will. And then you can just do simple movement animations on your main timeline, and then all the internal animations will be happening, and you can create some pretty good looking animations that way. That is all.